on how to do some literature searching using some of the tools at the U Alberta Library. So let's find the U Alberta Library website. Quick Google search gets you there. And where we're going to go is the Find Databases page. And they've got a list of the most popular databases. And the one I recommend using that is sort of a catch-all for social sciences, natural sciences, health sciences, educational research is Web of Science database. So they index all kinds of journals, and this will be a very sufficient database to start get you going. You'll be asked to log in, so you go ahead and do that if you're off campus. If you're on campus, you'll automatically get to the resource without having to log in. It's just verifying who I am. And the interface for Web of Science is really pretty straightforward. It looks like a Google search bar pretty much. But you've also got the option to search different specific types of information. So if you have a title for an article and you want to just find that, you can type it in here. If you wanted, for example, just look at all the articles published in a specific journal, if you know the title of the journal, you can plug that in. For example, American Journal of Pharmacy Education is a common one that I'm working with lately. And then you can add all kinds of time periods and stuff. If you click advanced, then you can do multiple things at once. So you can maybe, for example, specify formative assessment, and then add the idea of a publication. So American, and look at this, it even pulls up the actual names as you're typing them out. Pharmaceutical education. Is it in there? Pharmacy education. There is, nope, that's not it. Pharmaceutical education. There it is. And we can add that to the query, and then it builds a search string. So what you'll learn in here is some of the ways that you could potentially type things in. So right now it's saying topic search, formative assessment, and it's got this all in brackets. So it's like math language, logical language. And then it's got an operator, a logical operator, and I think this is source title, or I'm not sure what the O stands for, and it's looking for American Journal of Pharmaceutical Education. So if I click search, I'm going to get all of the articles that had the topic of formative assessment published in American Journal of Pharmaceutical Education. Now, typically you don't limit yourself to one journal. So I'm going to, go back to the main search page and do something that's more common to what you might do. So probably I would just start with a topic. And again, I'm going to think of formative assessment. And this is assessment that doesn't have grades, and the whole point of it is to provide feedback. And I'm going to look at pharmacy education. So this means I'm not just limiting myself to that one journal, and I'll get all kinds of hits of articles that are published in various journals. So when you do use logical operators, if you want to search, for the exact words, you put quotations around them. Brackets can be helpful in case you, are doing complex keyword searches. So this is just going to get me a whole bunch of hits about these two topics. And if you get too many hits, I didn't get very many hits at all. I only got 14. If you get too many hits, you might want to go back and be more specific. Maybe you want to look at it only in the title. So you only want to see those keywords in the title. And there's only one that had both of those key terms in the title. So that's an example of how to reduce the number of hits you get. Now, if I were to take away these quotations, I think we'll get more hits because it's not saying I want those exact combination of words. I searched the title again. We want to search the topics. Search. Yeah, so 109 results. So you see me taking away the quotations meant that sometimes I'm not getting all 4 words. So for example, in the second hit, you can see it didn't actually have the word formative in the title, or it did in the abstract, but it means that you're getting more potential for hits when you aren't being as specific with your keyword search. So Web of Science is great. It tells you, so it orders by relevance to start. It pulls up the one that seems to be the most relevant based on the search that you've implemented. And then it tells you all of the articles that have cited it. So if I click on that 18 number, these are articles that have cited that original work. So this can be a way to build out your literature to find articles that are interesting to read on the topic you're interested in. If I go back here, it also tells you all of the articles that this paper itself cited. So the references for this article can be accessed, which is a really good tool. So if you find a great article that either summarizes, say, all the literature on a topic you're interested in, you can then click on their references and start going through the list to see if there's any specific ones you want to cite. Especially, if you're reading a systematic review and you want to find that one, great quantitative study or that one great qualitative study that sort of is a key primary piece of literature that you could build off of. So those are really important things to do when you're searching for literature. Use these two ways of connecting to the network of literature that's connected to an article. So this first hit here is not original research. It's basically a guide or a summary of how you are maybe wanting to do formative assessment, which is great. It's a good source for learning. As someone who wants to practice formative assessment, this would be really helpful for me. I'm sure they cite research about formative assessment, primary studies that have been done, maybe qualitative or quantitative, and that's where their references would be really helpful for me if I wanted to find out more about how formative assessment's been studied. And then a couple other things to note. Anytime you find an article you like, you can add it to your marked list. So say I like these 2 articles, I check them off, add to marked list, and then you can see up at the top here, my marked list now includes those 2 articles, which if I click on it, you can see they are in here. You can export the records themselves into a text file, an Excel file, which would contain, the abstract, all kinds of the meta information about each of these articles. You can actually get the article by clicking on the Get It at UAlberta, and then you can pick up from one of multiple sources in order to access it. And then you'll get pulled right to the hard copy version of the paper, which you have access to as a University of Alberta student. And then you can look at the full text PDF, you can download it, you can add it to your folder, and you can start to read this article as a basis to help you, understand the literature. So one thing that was brought up in our session was this idea of getting alerts about articles you're interested in. So if we go back to this Web of Science search thing that I've done, we can go again back to the actual search that I did. Results. So here are the main results. Create an alert. There it is. There's a button to create an alert. So you may have to create an account for this to work for you, which you can do as a University of Alberta student. And then when you create an alert is you're basically asking it to email you anytime more literature has been added to that search. So it'll email you on a every week basis, on a monthly basis, that you can set that up based on your preference. And that can be helpful if you're trying to become someone who's keeping up on the literature with a very specific topic. So I hope this sort of orients you to how to start digging and looking for research on the topics you're interested in. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or Charla, and good luck.